welcome to today's weekend insight. Alright, so first I'll be pulling a victim versus creator card. Then I'll be pulling a scripture card to see how one of the other ways we overcame our issues this week, right? So, let us begin. So, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone from the highest good who has a message for my viewers, please come forward and share how did we get over one of last week's issues. The second half, trying to make sense of it. So I pulled a victim card, which was what I picked up on last week. Like last Sunday, I picked up on the fact that, we will feel more of a victim this week in regards to something that we're going to come up against, should I say. So, this is a lot. Pull the first one that flipped right side up. Okay. And it is John, book 4, verse 24. Okay. And this says, God is spirit, and his worshippers most worship in the spirit and in truth. I'm going to say that again. God is spirit, and his worshippers most worship in the spirit and in truth. So, for you to really worship God, or to really show that you get what God is laying down, should I say, understand what God is about, the main form of your worship should be in spirit, meaning it doesn't necessarily have a outwardly expression. It's mainly done within. And you don't necessarily need to have like like jewelry with rosaries and all that stuff. That is outward bound worshiping. And it's not necessarily in alignment with God. It's more in alignment with what we think God is. And something that is very much talked about in the evangelical church I go to is we worship a living God, meaning a God with whom you are in constant communication, in communion. You have a direct line of communication, right? And I had a little bit of difficulty with that, to be quite honest with you. I'm like, what's the difference? But the difference is when the church in which I was, how should I say it? I was baptized. The worshiping is mainly a one-way street. You worship God. You don't necessarily get like communication back. It's more like a monologue of you worshiping, while as the evangelical church, what I appreciated is that there is a constant communication. So it's two ways. You worship, God sends you the feeling. God sends you emotion. God sends you communication in multiple different ways which is what I've found extremely interesting. And that was what I was missing in my other church. So, what I feel like we've gained this week is an understanding that God is actually with us, living with us, communicating with us, and due to that, it's not just a one-sided affair. It's a two-sided street. So, and because God's love is everlasting, no matter what you do, God is always there, right? And a lot of people will, their perception of what their relationship with their significant other should be will change due to that connection. And if you think about it, your connection with God is the first and foremost connection you should be thinking about. And seeing as that relationship, your relationship with God, should be the relationship that sets the tone for all the others. And because you are in constant communication with God and you feel that connection with God, well, when you are missing that from your connection with your significant other, you know that it's not the right one, because that communication is lacking. You know that it's not the right one. So make sure that your connection with God is sound, your relationship with God is stable, and that you have a reciprocal relationship with God. If you get that one right, all your other relationships should fall into place. Okay? So the other way we overcame our mentality of being a victim this week is that we understood that our connection, our relationship with God, is what is going to get us out of whatever issue we have, right? Because, and especially our relationship with others, and how our relationship in spirit, the way we feel, the way we interact, and the thoughts that we think, and so on and so forth, is actually what is keeping us together. And because of that, we are able to overcome and understand where we stand with other people and decide if we actually want to invest more into a relationship with this individual. That is actually the specific thing I am currently working with myself. So I'm sure if I'm dealing with this, a lot of other people are dealing with this as well. So what I want you to think about, okay, is what type of relationship you allow to stay in your reality. And is that the actual relationship you have with God? Ponder that.